John Logan's corps marches up State Road and fights with the Rebs under General Matthew Butler. The brochure again says this site is the only significant defense of Columbia. The narration goes on to say, when I say narration, the narration from the brochure that I'm reading while I'm driving, goes on to say that Confederates held their line of breastworks on the north side of the Congaree Creek and that the creek was flooded. Breastworks or earthworks are basically temporary fortifications. The Union outflanked the Rebs and the Confederates retreated. The narration also says that the State Road was the first planned road in South Carolina from the coast to the mountains, and I'm on my way to see where this all actually happened. The map also showcases where a historical marker rests, though the narration for the first site says nothing of the marker. It simply allows a little bullet point labeled historic marker. But I know exactly where it is. I've seen it before. It's close to a tucked away neighborhood toward the end of the Casey Riverwalk. I'm driving, listening to songs about death, and trying to take pictures with my iPhone. This is distracted driving. The marker rests on a little fork in the road on State Road, which is labeled on the map, New State Road. I park on the side of the road. The fork seems like a little grassy island. I take pictures of the marker and read it. It is slightly different from the description in the brochure, oddly more detailed. It reads, Battle of Congaree Creek on February 15, 1865, as General W.T. Sherman's Federal Army advanced to Columbia, General O.O. Howard's Army of the Tennessee found its way blocked by Confederates and entrenched behind Congaree Creek and defending the Old State Road Bridge. General George G. Dibrell dismounted a cavalry bridge, supported by infantry and artillery, manned the nearby earthworks, portions of which survive. Flip side of marker. General George R. Woods, 1st Division of General John A. Logan's 15th Corps pushed Federal skirmishers ahead, while one of Woods' brigades crossed upstream and turned the Confederate right flank. Dibrell's force withdrew from Congaree Creek and then its earthworks, retreating to Columbia. The Confederates set fire to the bridge. The Federals saved it and made their camp nearby that night. This stuff still survives? Where are they? In any case, I know that the marker is a long way from the big red 1 on my map, and I assume that's where the bridge is located. I continue driving down Old State Street, anxious to see this pipe. Road closed. I drive back north up Old State Street and stop at a boat landing for the Congaree River. It's also a parking area for a new part of the Casey Riverwalk. Is the pipe here someplace? I park, get out, and walk around. There's a big dumpster there. Resting beside this dumpster is a discarded purple recliner. I chuckle to myself and ask myself, wonder if Sherman sat here. Next to the chair is a broken bottle of Bud Light beer. I wonder if Sherman sat here, had a Bud Light. I don't see a pipe. I drive to the new tennis center in Casey and walk down to what's labeled Timmerman Trail, which was actually built by SCANA. By the way, SCANA is a Fortune 500 company, an energy natural gas company. I walk down where the trail starts. There's a dirt road that goes back into the woods. There's a crane or something just hanging out by itself, no workers. I get to the head of the trail. It, of course, reads, Trail Closed. I do see a little creek, though. Is that it? Is that the Congaree Creek? Don't see a pipe. Where's the pipe? I notice on the other side of the dirt road another paved trail. No trail closed sign here. Cool. I enter it and see some sort of sign face down in the mud. I pick it up and look at the other side. Under construction. Screw it. I'll pretend I didn't see it. It was face down in the mud. This is pretty country. The trees are draped with Spanish moss. It's all so very southern. I meander through the woods following this very nice, freshly paved trail. It's more of a nice sidewalk. It has very nice wooden bridges over little creeks. I do notice a big pipe underneath what looks like a fairly newly made dirt bridge for construction vehicles. Is that it? If it is, it isn't a very good pipe. I'm expecting quite pipe. And then the trail pauses for a dirt road and continues on the other side. This is Old State Street, I figure. I look slightly to the north. It's a bridge. And look at that big green pipe. Jackpot. I found it. I'm thrilled. I actually forget about the whole Sherman thing for a second. I feel like an explorer. I found my treasure in the form of a big old green pipe. Natural gas or something, I guess. I'm proud of myself. I continue on to the trail on the other side of the dirt. Old State Street Road, which continued for some time further south. I envision troops marching up it. I see I-70 and traffic crossing over the dirt road, more of a path to my south. On this Timmerman Trail on the east side of Old State Street Road, I get a much better view of Congaree Creek. Now that's a creek. It's a gorgeous area. I take tons of pictures with my iPhone. I take selfies. This stuff needs to be on Facebook. That makes it real. I also look for earthworks. Earthworks still survive. That's what the marker says. I don't see nothing like that. Okay, so here's where it all happened. This is where the troops were, and they skirmished and all that stuff. Cool trees. There's unreadable graffiti on the pipe. Left by Sherman? I take pictures on both sides of the bridge, though the pipe is only on the west side. Down below the bridge, I notice an abandoned shopping cart. Perhaps Sherman sent a quartermaster to Walmart, and he left the cart here at the creek. I notice as I walk away from the bridge a gray piece of clothing. I'm on the south side, and I don't think the Revs made it over to this side, but who knows? It's obviously discarded sweatpants. But I take a picture, and I pretend in my mind it is an old Confederate uniform. Because in the process of making history, some things are just made up. And I hope that the critical tourist won't believe everything they hear. Thank you. And thanks very much to Dr. Hopkins and the Faculty Development Committee, and the sabbaticals do rock. We're going to quickly now, if I can have our Land of Pieta members come down here. We're going to quickly move to the Land of Pieta induction. I was going to warm up at. Before we, I've already recognized some folks that are here, but before we actually start this, it's my pleasure to recognize both Caitlin Curry and Sashay Butler. They're the only current Land Pieta members on campus that are students, and they will soon offer you some basic information about the organization. And I'd also, I've already mentioned that some folks from the COM studies program are here, and Mr. Nevitt is here. Oh, thank you very much. And Dr. Hopkins is here. It still will look cool with the candles. But are there any other Land of Pieta members here? I wanted to recognize them if there are any there. Dr. Huell, were you ever? Yeah, they're there. Congratulations. Well done. Did you wear your pen?
I did not.
Did you all wear your pen? Oh, good. Okay. And so just as you know, this is a ritual. This is sort of a ceremony, and you'll hear a little bit about the history. But what we're going to do tonight, for the most part, was exactly the same way that they did the very first induction ceremony in Fayetteville, Arkansas, at the downtown Hilton in 1986. And actually, I would ask all of the Land of Pieta almost to be inducted people to come on up here if you could possibly just sort of stand up here. Come on down. You don't really have to be in any order or anything like that. There's so many. This is like the biggest group we've ever had be inducted. We have one student who couldn't be here tonight, so we will induct her.
I'll stand behind you. Great.
So now let me turn it over to Caitlin and Sashay.
Land of Pieta was founded by students in the Department of Communications at the University of Arkansas in 1985. It was Lori Beth Young, a communication major from Piatt, Arkansas, who realized that her department was not among the academic units that housed bona fide honor societies. So she approached Dr. Steve Smith, then a young rhetorician fairly fresh out of his graduate program at Northwestern, to ask him about that situation. "Why isn't there an official Communication Honor Society?" Lori asked. Dr. Smith responded, "Because you haven't started one yet." If you would like to learn more about the history of Lambda Pi Eta, please read Dr. Munsel's co-authored essay published in Review of Communication just last month. I have heard that it's a treasure of prose.
The National Communication Association established LPH as an affiliate organization and as the official National Communication Honor Society for undergraduates in 1995. In February 1996, Lambda Pi Eta was inducted in the Association of College Honor Society, and now there are nearly 500 chapters worldwide. Our chapter, the Sigma Gamma chapter, was established in 2004 and has since inducted 59 students. The name Lambda Pi Eta is represented by the Greek letters L for lambda, P for pi, and H for eta, symbolizing what Aristotle described in his book Rhetoric as the three modes of persuasion.
Yeah, this is the hard part. We did get permission last year. The first mode of persuasion is logos, in all aspects of scholarship. In all aspects of scholarship and its application in one's life, reason, argument, and logic plays a major role in deliberations and problem solving.
Pathos, or emotional appeal, the second symbol of our organization's title, encompasses a driving force that makes an organization vital and effective.
The last mode of persuasion is ethos, or character and credibility. Aristotle saw character and credibility as a primary means of making change in society and in one's life.
Lambda Pi Eta has 6 goals in its national constitution: to recognize, foster, and reward outstanding scholastic achievement, to stimulate interest in the field of communication studies, to provide an opportunity to discuss and exchange ideas in the field of communication studies, to provide and encourage professional development among communication studies majors, to establish and maintain close relationships and mutual understanding between faculty and students, and to explore options for further graduate education.
To be eligible for membership, students must have completed 60 semester hours in undergraduate courses, having a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.25, have completed at least 12 semester hours in communication studies with at least a 3.5 GPA in those classes. The students being inducted today are our finest communication studies students and are among the finest at Columbia College. They honor us with their diligence, intelligence, and engagement, and so today we honor them.
Okay, as I call your name, this is the induction. As I call your name, please come forward to receive your certificate. So I'll give you your certificate. And then Caitlin is going to give you your pen. This is what the pen looks like. And the little door you see is actually the door of Old Main, which is the oldest building on the campus of the University of Arkansas where this was founded. And then Caitlin will give you your cord. And one thing that, since Dr. Hopkins is here, one thing that's really, really important to her and to us, that during graduation you can wear the cord, but you can't wear the pin. You're not supposed to have anything on your robe, so just to make sure you know that, if you end up graduating. So I'm going to go alphabetically, and if you could just scoot, I know there's too many. Malaya Ferrito. Congratulations. Sarah Ruth Chapman. Congratulations.